I was previously using an outdated build of A0C's Satan build. He since seems to have dropped off the grid. I don't know much about the guy, but from what I can tell, he's vanished. And the GitHub repo that he was hosting before with these changes is gone. It's up on mine. Don't ask me questions about it because I'm not going to support it, obviously. But anyway, I have figured out how to get these modifications working. So what I'm actually going to do is clone a fresh copy of QMK and set it beside the one with modifications that I have made, and we will do a comparison, and we will modify a fresh build up to having n-2 LEDs plus the ability to show you what layer you're in. We're going to talk about how that's done and so on. So first thing we're going to do, jump to QMK. What am I doing? No. So we're going to drop that. Yeah. On the desktop. So I'm going to name my current to modded QMK. I'm going to go ahead and extract it here. Here's our modded one. Here's our fresh build. Let's jump into the fresh build. If I go into keyboards, Satan, okay. What the hell? Keyboard's acting funny. If I push my keycaps hard enough, they pop off because I had previously used these on my Ergodox Infinity, which I don't use anymore. If you're interested in buying it, let me know. I'm going to drop this down a little bit. And make DFU to program it. This all assumes that you didn't have nearly as much problems as I did as setting up a build environment, because believe me, I struggled. Take a car key, shove it in the hole in the back, puts it in DFU mode. It flashes. As you can see, I have one leg sticking out, so to speak. No LEDs on the back. This is how it comes from the factory. And when I say from the factory, I mean how QMK ships it. First thing you want to do to enable your LEDs, open up your make file. We need to define that we want it. So we say RGB LED enable, yes. And then go into config.h. E2, that's right. 8, no, we have 16 LEDs in my chain. The user I'm making this video for has a B.mini X2, which has 16 LEDs as well. So, make clean, make. This should bring us backlight support, hopefully. We'll find out. I don't remember if I had to do something else. Don't need a car key this time because function backspace puts it in programming mode. Alright, cool. We do. What in the hell? I got an oddball here. I can't explain that. going on? Dude, what is going on? Okay, it's working now. Or is it? Let's turn the backlight on. Yeah, seems to be working now. Well, that was trick as hell. I can't see anything. I literally can't see. That was flashing really bright in my face. Well, it's working. I don't know what that was about. Probably some timing and register issue. Okay. Let's turn that brightness up. That one down. Okay, now that we have a full array of 16 LEDs on there, which will kill somebody if they stare at them bright enough, now what we need to do is chop off the first and the last. To do that, we're going to have to modify QMK's library. So we're going to quantum/rgblight.c. There's a line of code specifically that I'm looking for. Really? Let's do 26. Not too big? 20? Yeah, it's good. Okay. Now, the line of code we're looking for to chop these off. Now remember, my keyboard specifies 16 LEDs. So I'm just going to leave that as it is for simplicity's sake. I don't want to get into too big of a tangent as to why I'm not changing it to 14, because there's an animation aberration that I can't solve, and I suspect it has to do with tinkering with where the center of it is. It's the little it's the little Knight Rider effect that goes left and right. You'll see it when I get this going. Here's the line of code that we're looking for and that we're going to need to change. So anytime you see this snippet of code, anywhere you see this, what it's doing is saying from the start, which is 0, we're going to start at 0. In the array, that would be the first LED in the chain. It starts at 0. Remember this. From 0 to 15. Now, I specified 16 here, but this isn't less than or equal. This is less than. So from 0 to 15, which is 16 LEDs. 0 to 15, and for every instance of this, go up. And what are we adjusting? We're adjusting I. And I is the LED number dot the color channel. So this is kind of complicated, kind of sort of, but not really. We're going to do this. We're going to bump this up to 1 so that it skips the first one to 15 minus 1. Anytime you see this line. So say this, copy it, edit, in your text editor of choice, we're going to go ahead and do replacement. So we're going to start at the first LED, then go all the way up to just before the last. We're going to replace everything, save it, make clean. Not necessary, but I'm a neat freak. Haha, not. And DFU. So I have a full scale animation. When this is done, it's going to chop my last 2 LEDs off. And it did it. So as you can see, there's one right there that's vacant, and on the other side, another one that's vacant. So Now we have the space that we can work with. Oh, and let's go ahead and show you what I'm talking about with the bad animation. So, animation works good here. It's this Knight Rider effect that has this little blinky dinky going on here. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to solve it. Let's see if we can, actually. Night. Night effect offset. Modulo. There we go. Let's try it with -1 and then -2. I'm curious to see what that is. Position -1 or position +1. I suddenly decided I don't really care. I'm just wasting time by doing this. Yeah, it's still got that. If you have any suggestions, throw them my way. I don't really care because I don't use this animation anyway. Okay. So, again, clean slate, first and last are missing. Let's go ahead and turn this down so we can see that better. Right? Yeah. And that one's missing. So now, this gives us the ability to inject 0 and 15 LED 0 dot red, green, and blue, and LED 15 dot red, green, and blue as status indicators. And the way we're going to do that, whatever, we do this in our keyboard. So keyboards, Satan in my case, not necessarily yours. So, matrix scan, this is where we're going to determine what layer we're in. Now, I've already done this, so I'm just going to be guilty and copy and paste my code. Don't save those changes. Wait, ah, shit, I should have. Whatever. Just ignore what I did with that Knight Rider stuff. You know, I'm going to cut that out. So, if you see a jump cut, and then you see me say that in about 5 minutes, that's why. I'm not going to cut it out. I'm too lazy. Anyway. Satan. So we're going to jump into our already modified one. And here is the code. First thing we need to do is define the external variable of what state we are in, layer state. And then in our matrix scan keyboard code here, first thing after we go through in the function of scanning for keys, I'm anal like that. I'd prefer it to be below that. I don't think it makes a difference. Anyway, so here we have set a variable layer, which is layer state. Now we're going to do a switch in case, which is basically a big, long, freaking way of compacting a bunch of if and else's. I'm not a C expert. There might be. I believe there's some performance improvements with doing it this way. Anyway, my keyboard layout. Let's get rid of this one so we don't get confused. Or excuse me, since I'm using a fresh keyboard layout, the default one only has 2 of them, which is this one and this one, which are 2 layers, so 0 and 1. 1, so 0 would be the default, and then 1. Now, I normally use 2 more. I'm going to go ahead and chop 2 and 3 out of here. And let's do pretty off-ball color just for demonstration purposes. So this right here will now set our color depending on what layer we're on. Oh, gotta hear that song again. I love it, man. It's my compiling song. I'm gonna make DFU, program it. Okay, it works. Now we have a pretty looking okay, now my farthest whoops. My farthest LEDs are off, and when I jump into layer number 1, it gives us that pretty magenta color, which is irrelevant to everything else going on. Now, let's go ahead and make use of LED 0. Again, this is 15, which is the last one in the chain. For that one, we're going to go ahead and jump onto this. Now, if I use the on-screen keyboard here, I can't do caps lock because caps lock is backspace for me. And I fire up caps lock, regardless of my backlight state. This code right here does that. Now, you can also do these for the num lock and scroll lock, which I have done. So let's go ahead and pull that up. It's not in key maps, it's Satan.c. What am I doing? Oh, it's right there. Yeah, smooth move works on. You have one for num lock and scroll lock and caps lock. You can see the difference. It's just an extension. So I'm going to go ahead and pull for USB or LED set KB. Oh, drop this one. Yeah, okay, so that's right. No, after, then down. Okay. So I'm just going to read this off to you. If we support USB LEDs and caps lock is on, turn my red light onto 255, commit it, my first light, red channel, 255, commit it, and turn on my caps lock, else turn everything off. Same thing, scroll lock, first LED, green channel maximum, commit it, else zero it out, commit it. Num lock, 0 LED, blue channel, 255, commit. You get the point. So, let's go ahead and save this. Make clean, no, caps lock. I can't clean, shut up. Let's make DFU, put it in program mode, rock out a little bit. I'm going to reset my keyboard to clear out those LEDs that might be a residual. Okay, now I have that one over there for the status, and let's go ahead and pop on caps lock, other side red, number lock, blue, scroll lock, green, and they also stack. That's that. So I'm going to go ahead and trick out my we're going to add here case 1 through break. Add these 2 cases back from my other layers. Whoops, I didn't mean to close, I meant to save it. Let's get my good old preferred key map back in order here. I like my key map. The best key map is the key map that works best for you. Okay, now we're going to build it with my preferred key map. What's the command? Make clean? I can't clean. Okay. And now I should be good to go. I'm missing my music. My compiling music. Okay. Let me find kind of a neutral palette here. Where's that pulsating one? Okay. So now I have my key map and my layers, blue, green, red, and again you can jump between them and you don't have to worry about it stacking. I have keycaps all over my desk. That just happened. And I'm not cutting that out. I'm uploading that. There we go. Now, can I turn this brightness down just a little bit? Nope, that's saturation. There we go. Dim it down. Okay, so there's our layers. And now here are our... Oh no. Just to prove a point, I'm going to restart it. When you do things like this, things don't always work as planned, such as that. Oh, how about that? Huh, it was just a funky state with my backlight. Yeah. Interesting. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be an interesting thing to fix. Until then, there is my partially working fix. I'm going to leave it at this, and maybe you'll see another video in the future of me squashing that bug of the random illumination pattern on the back. Until then, that's all you got to do. Just got to adjust it so that your animations don't change that final frame, and then block them out from being written, and then insert your own writing, just like that. One thing that you could do that I believe might fix that flickering is just get rid of this. These lines right here, these set LEDs, these commitments. The reason I don't is because then if you don't have an animation running, or if you have a slow animation running, one that's only like a couple of frames, like that Christmas light animation that it comes with, that only does a couple of frames a second, then your layer status lights might be kind of slow to update. But that's that. That's my ghetto way of doing it. It looks fine up until somebody walks by, or you record yourself, in which case it freaks out. Take care.